I'm the kind of person that loves to work. I keep myself so busy and often too busy, but man, I enjoy working. Maybe it's because I'm the oldest daughter in the family. And yeah, you'll often see me with a hammer in hand or with a drill, something. There's always something that I enjoy doing. And in the summer, of course, we've got all the extra yard work and so on. But, I often think about, so how do I start my day? I think that so often we experience such a busyness in our heads, even in our minds, and we just feel we gotta go, work. And yet, how does God see work in our lives? And how do we get it in that way that we do everything in His presence? See, as children of God, I believe that we always are in His presence, but because we're so human and naturally minded, I think it is really good for us to take some time before we begin the busyness and the work of the day to spend time in His presence, because He loves to be involved in everything we do. And so James 4 verse 8 says, "Come near to God, and He will draw near to you." And then Psalm 16 verse 11 says, "In your presence is fullness of joy." And then another verse talks about how joy is strength. So joy is strength, and that's what we need, right? So if you need strength, then tap into joy, the joy of the Lord, because that joy will be the strength that you need. And so in the mornings, maybe before you start your work, I would encourage, this is what I try to do. I don't always every day, but my goal is to be more intentional about taking that first stretch of the day. Can be short, can be long, however, and to become very aware of His presence. And then out of having spent that time with Him, talking about all that does need to get done during the day, and all that is on my mind and on my heart, it really puts my heart in a good place for the day. And I have often experienced that I actually seem to get more done if I take that time being aware, just being with Him. And then start the day. I once had an experience. I was in a different city, in a hotel room, because I was going to be speaking at a conference starting the next day, and I was so tired that night, and I still felt like I really need to do this. I need to get this together better and work with this, and I was so tired, and I called out to God, and I said, "Help me, God." And you know what He said to me? He said, "Go to bed, get some rest." Wow. His yoke is easy, His burden is light. And what a great way to do life, to spend that time in His presence, and then out of that to go ahead and do everything that needs to get done. I love this one quote by a writer, and he says, "Activity does not produce God's presence, but God's presence will always produce focused and productive activity." So let's make sure that we get this in the right order. Let's spend that time with Him first before everything else, and then head into the day. Whatever's before us, we do, but let's do it with joy, because then He is our strength. Let's do it being aware that He is with us, that we are in His presence, and allow His presence to bring you into that place where you can be focused and productive. I believe that we need to get that in the right order. We are so wired that activity will produce God's presence. But you know what? it is the other way around. If we take that time to be with Him, everything will flow out of that, and whatever we do will be focused and productive.